to the show. It's such an honor to have you. Teddy, you're the founder of your company, Black Pixel. Is that how you say it, Black Pixel?
Yeah, Black Pixel, you got it right.
Also known as the wonderful Mr. Metaverse within the community. You've been leading the way on ClubHouse earlier this year. You're a thought leader, tech geek, bold entrepreneur. It's such an honor to have you here, so welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Amazing.
Thank you for the invite.
So
Definitely.
first of all, I just want to say massive congratulations for being listed in the top 30 most influential people in the metaverse. That's amazing to see your name up there amongst other incredible industry pioneers and thought leaders. We've got Neil Stephenson, Matthew Ball, Cathy Hackle, Tim Sweeney, Ryan Gill, Beeple, Benoit, and yourself, of course. So they say with great knowledge and comes great responsibility. So how does it feel being at the forefront of communicating and shaping these ideals of Web3 and the open metaverse?
It's amazing, definitely, to be listed among such aspiring peers. And I mean that, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, to be honest, to be totally honest, because I think that all of us, we are doing this because we are driving by passion and nothing else. We don't do that for having rewards or something like that. It's that we just have a conviction in something, we believe in something, and we are working hard to contribute to this. Just as simple as that. And it's such an honor to be listed among such incredible peers, by the way. Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's so well deserved, and you're just putting out so much positive energy into the community. And I just think that's so important as we're building this open metaverse and shaping, the ideas and ideals of what we would like. So I guess a brilliant way to start is like, what does the open metaverse mean to you?
The open metaverse, a lot of people, relate to the metaverse about VR or augmented reality, but mostly VR and gaming. But the open metaverse is the next iteration of the internet. It's like being able to interconnect with people, with things, and with everything, by the way. It's this digital layer that will enable the world to go to the next stage. So this is it, the open metaverse. From my point of view, it's about self-sovereign identity. How do we represent ourselves into this new world, in this new ecosystem? It's about, personal data ownership. It's about decentralization. It's about, being able to bring people into our vision of the world as well, because it will be open for creators and all of that. It's about creating a new sort of economy, more inclusive. Yeah, so this is the open metaverse, and it's not like something, it's just about gaming. It's about everything we know, how we socialize, how we live our life, how we work, embedded into the tissue of digital itself.
Oh, that's just beautiful. And you've been just really communicating these ideas so beautifully in the Metaverse series, or your blog posts as well on LinkedIn, series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I remember you linked to me one of them, which I really resonated with, which was about avatars. And obviously I'm here as an avatar. And so beautiful. You're talking about you were first talking about direct to avatar, and then you took it a step further and you talked about direct to soul, and then you just broke down the word of the spirit and the anima. And do you want to just talk about that a little bit further about avatars and what you were talking about in that blog?
In this article, I was exploring, look, what we do at Black Pixel is that we are working on the scope, at the convergence of anthropology and technology. Okay, so it's about understanding humans, humankind, and, all of the movement that, that are flowing between people, community, civilization, nation, and all of that. And to understand, if we take that and we put some tech in it, some digital innovation, what would happen? And I think that since the dawn of age, people, we are social beings, okay? So we live to communicate with other people, because if we are just alone, would we be really human? So this is it. So, and communication, it's about existing into the eye of other people. Okay, so it's about sex expression. It's about how we represent ourselves, how we project ourselves, and also how we want other people to perceive us. And this is it. And with this new metaverse, with these new things coming, it opened, I mean, endless possibilities to represent ourselves. Because what does that mean to be human? I mean, to be human is that we have a spirit that animates us. We have a soul, which makes us different from animals, you know, from beasts, I mean, real beasts. And it's our capacity, how, you know, capabilities about thinking, about reflection, about, you know, connecting with other people. I mean, all of the things that make us human. And what really determines that, you know, is it just some chemical reaction into our brains? Is it some electrical reaction as well? And yeah, and it's about reflecting of, you know, on all of this. And when we talk about avatars and self-representation and how we perceive ourselves and how we project ourselves, it's about also about our body, our physical representation. And what is interesting is that the word avatars come from ancient Sanskrit, which means representation of God on earth. Okay, which means that, I mean, God live into an ethereal world, but to be able to interact with human beings, you know, on earth, I mean, with people and things and animals on earth, they have to incarnate themselves into a physical body. And what is interesting is that we humans, we are using the same word to describe our digital self into the digital world. And which is quite interesting, because that means that if we are able to unleash our creativity, our imagination about, you know, how can we design ourselves, how we feel inside into that digital world. Maybe we never know. I mean, in that digital world, I could be a blonde, beautiful girl or something like that, you know. And this is it. I mean, it opened endless possibility about, you know, questioning ourselves, about our true self. And, you know, people go to the gym to transform the body because they don't feel comfortable with the body. Some people go through hardcore surgery. Some people, I mean, are transgender and all of that. But it's all about the same thing. It's about reconnecting the mind with the body, because we didn't choose our body. We inherited from our parents, from our genes. So what is the real us that we want to show to the world? And it's all about this, and it opens new doors. And in the metaverse, people will have the possibility, they will have the option to design their true self and to show their true self to the world without, I mean, having to go into surgery or something like that, because, I mean, this is totally digital. I mean, you can be whatever you like. So in order for brands and company to connect with people, I mean, which means that we are not doing direct to avatars, we are doing direct to soul, because we are talking to the soul, to the spirit of those people. And so, yeah, I mean, we will have to level up our game and to understand what this new paradigm is bringing to people and humanity at large.
Oh,
Teddy, I can speak about it for hours.
That was just so on point and so beautiful and eloquent. We need more people like you in the world. No, but it's true. I think there's this excitement and this creative energy that's surrounding this concept and idea of the open metaverse and the ability to freely express oneself. It's almost like like a new birth in a sort of way, and it's got this sense of freedom and no boundaries. So I think I'm very excited to see, you know, people come into their own or experiment and just connect and find new things about themselves and just feel free, you know. And I think
be free to be themselves.
I think that's really important and beautiful. And so as it's going to be very interesting, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, you know, for companies, and they've got to market their products. I'm just connecting it to direct to soul. How do companies do this in an authentic way that connects with people without just pushing, you know, what they're selling to people in the open metaverse? How can they authentically connect with the community?
You know, first, the metaverse is not there yet. I mean, the metaverse is there, but partially. We have this digital VR platform, gaming platform, and then we have the blockchain company and all of that.
Yeah.
And then we have the advanced data management system, and then we have the internet layer. I mean, the metaverse, I mean, we have to understand that it's not just about VR. It's a tech stack of different technology that will enable the metaverse. It's about connectivity and everything as well. You know, so from my point of view, there are 5 core technology, which is the infrastructure layer of the metaverse. It's blockchain, AR, VR, artificial intelligence, and advanced data management system. And we are talking about cloud system, edge, edge computing, and everything related, And so, which means that if you understand tech and what tech is right now and the business model of big tech, it's all about data, right?
Yeah.
And in order to company to connect with people, what do they do now? They just exploit the data and get some information out of it, some relevant information to connect with the people.
Yeah.
Think about something, okay? In the metaverse, if self-sovereign identity becomes the norm, because that have to become the norm to be able to, to come up with interoperability between the different platforms that will give you the options to move freely, seamlessly across the metaverse, okay? So it's about self-sovereign identity. So now just imagine that you have all of the data and you can carry your data with you. You can bring it with you when you are moving from platform to platform, okay?
Yeah.
So which means that you can give access to your data to any company that you would like to give access to it, because you want to get some services from this company, okay? And it's not just about your data over the internet. So remember that the metaverse is the merge of the real world and the digital world, the physical and the digital world, which means that if we can collect your data both in real life and both in the digital space, you will be complete. See? So the thing is, now we are touching it's not the soft point, but this is it. This is the thing. So if we can explore those data, we can only just predict your behavioral patterns about, anything.
Yeah.
By the way. So now it's happened, the metaphysical question about what we are. Are we our data or are we more than that? See, and I think that the closest way for brands and company to understand who you are is to get access to your real life data and all of your data spread across the digital space.
That's
so
true.
This is the target, by the way. And this is why self-sovereign identity is so crucial. And this is why personal data sovereignty is so critical at the same time.
That's so beautiful. Because, it makes me think of when I was watching the Social Dilemma on Netflix, that documentary. And
on Netflix.
Yeah. And they were talking about, misuse of data and how it can be manipulative. And so that's why I think it's so important, to have self-sovereign identity. So we, as people, as individuals, have control over what, what we share and, have a decentralized, open, not closed metaverse. So, that's really beautiful. And so
this is the next stage.
Yeah, it's the next evolution. And so, you're talking about augmented reality in one of your blog posts, and you were saying it's not just virtual reality. I think people you were talking about can misconstrue metaverse with being just one virtual world, but you were saying it's plurality worlds, and also it's not just virtual, but as you were saying, the physical and the digital, or like the fabricant would say Phygital. And so augmented reality, creates this new layer. It adds this, as you would say, fourth dimension to the world. So how do you envision the future? When we have smart cities, we've got wearable tech. You see Facebook and Ray-Ban have those augmented reality glasses and products like that. And how will all these sort of devices play a role in the future open metaverse?
Something we have to understand is that we cannot predict the future.
No.
Okay, we can just lecture the big trends, the weak signal, and look back into the past to try to figure out where we are heading, and to be able to prevent if it's dystopian, and to find some balance, between it, because the future is built from our action, what we are actually doing from the present, by the way. But when we look into the past, okay, we are, and if we really understand the course of humankind and the planet Earth and everything, I mean, we have different ages, and we have to understand that right now we are just at the very beginning. We are at the inception of the digital age. So this is just the beginning. So everything we are doing right now is just the very first step, okay, of the digital age, the early age of. So if we can project ourselves like 50 years back, okay, if we can go backwards 50 years back in the time, and we should be able to meet people from that time and tell them what we are living right now. I mean, it sounds totally crazy. This is sci-fi, you know. Nobody could have predicted back then, but it will be the same thing if we can go fast forward into the future for 50 years, you know, and this is it. And everything, I mean, every technology we are working on it right now is just at the early stage. In 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, it will be something totally different. It will be, I mean, sci-fi, definitely.
Of course.
So what we can, you know, try to understand as weak signal about this thing, and particularly this digital layer of the internet, this augmented reality layer over the real world. I mean, we have to go back to the meaning of the words. I always love to go back to the meaning of the word because it says everything. You know, words are everything. Augmented reality. We are using it all day, all the time, that we tend to forget what the words really means. So that's it. This is the technology that we augment our reality. See, which means that in the future, with this AR glasses and all of that, I mean, we should be able to see things that we cannot see with our own eyes. So it could be the structural data of the real world, or some data that we will have over the real world to describe it, to envision something, or whatever it is. So this is definitely next stage, next step, but it will come, and it's coming gradually. But the tech is not totally there right now. Okay, so we have also some, I mean, some connectivity to unleash. I think that 5G, it's a big step, but I'm waiting for 6G. You know, it will be totally crazy.
Aren't we all?
So this is it. So I mean, it enables something that we could never imagine, you know, I mean, because this is out of imagination. I mean, we can walk in the street, and if I got these AR glasses and I can meet you in the street, I should be able not to see the real you, but to see your avatar in person. See, this is it. So you can even give me access to some information about you that will be, you know, floating into the air or something like this. You know, we never know. Anything can happen. And this is the beauty of the thing.
Yeah, and you know, there's the Disney movie Tomorrowland, and just on a base level, the concept just intrigues me, which is quite obvious. Like what we do now, you know, affects the different time. We could go on several different timelines depending on our current actions and how we manifest. I'm a big believer in manifestation. So of course, it's the combination of the dreamers and the doers to build the reality that we want to live in.
True.
Yep. And another technology that I think about a lot, especially because I'm embodying this fictional character of a super sentient AI superheroine character for my music project. So it's this concept of obtaining super sentience, being, you know, super intelligent, like more than a human. And it's just a unique perspective when creating music. But obviously that's in Storyland. But I'm very curious to speculate with the technology of artificial intelligence and the role it will play between AI and humans in this future open metaverse. How can one distinguish, would one be able to distinguish between what's an AI and who's a human when they're communicating and playing along with different avatars and different games?
I mean, it will be very difficult to make the difference, by the way. At some point, I mean, even right now, it's like, you know, AI can write some text, okay? and you won't be able to see the difference between a human writing and an AI writing. This is the thing. So at some point when we will reach, I mean, it won't be totally that we will reach the singularity point of AI, but kind of, okay? Because if the AI can mimic a behavior of an individual, would be quite difficult to make the difference. And I think that this is why we have to think about it. We have to bring more ethics into the tech and think about how we will build this new world and how we will coexist with AI and other people and everything. So this is some of the concern that I have, because I mean, and we have to involve. This is why I try to educate. This is why I try to evangelize, to make people understand that this is not sci-fi. It's already there. It's coming. I mean, it is just knocking at our door right now. So how do we apprehend the thing? How do we embrace it? And how do we make it more inclusive and, for the good of our people, for the good of society and for the good of the planet? It's all about this.
Yeah, for sure. And like, just creatively with my project, by making her like a superheroine character, it's to help humanity and serve humanity. Like, that's part of this storyline that creatively I'm making up for this character, because it's just a unique perspective. And also I've done some reading like on Nick Bostrom, superintelligence and AI ethics, and I just think ethics around AI is so important, and establishing the groundwork sooner rather than later. Because we humans are so special and we want to feel empowered and find a way to coexist with AI.
I mean, this is very true. But you know what? I have one question for you as well.
Sure.
Let's turn it around.
All right.
I mean, am I talking to Vinci, or am I talking to the real you in the digital world?
Great question. You're talking to the real me in the digital world. So if Vinci was in like an animated series or something, she would have a different persona. She wouldn't be as self-aware of the real world. She'd be in her own world, fictional universe. But right now I'm communicating as myself through the puppeteering of this character. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it makes sense. Which means that I am talking to the real you right now. Love it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's always fun, right? And so another thing you talked about in your blogs was like future jobs in the metaverse, and you're speculating. Yep. And I just love the different titles. The obvious one that we already can see is like digital fashion designer. I know you love and you're super into fashion. So do you want to speak about how you've been involved with different digital fashion projects, or what projects you've seen that you're excited about in the open metaverse?
I'm excited by a lot of projects. I think that the most impressive one is coming from I won't say the gaming industry, but I mean, if you understand digital culture and, I would say digital Darwinism, you will pretty understand what the studio 𝐓𝐇𝐄 is doing right now. It's pretty amazing what they do. I mean, they are setting the stage for the next step of digital fashion, as it is. I'm really excited by the project that they do. I'm really excited by the Fabricant, by Dematerialize, by Ouroboros as well. I mean, those guys are doing an incredible work. But now I want to see them bring it to the next level, because if we are doing digital fashion to just reproduce what we can find in real life, the fabrics and all of this, I mean, yeah, okay, that's cool, but what's the next stage? I want to see dresses, I mean, suits made from the fabrics, the tissue of the universe itself. I want to see, a dress made with plasma. I mean, or a nice suit made out of cosmic sauce or something like this, something totally crazy, out of this world. And this is the next stage. And as an avatar, I want my avatar to be dressed with, with some phoenix, something totally crazy. And this is, I think this is the next level. And I totally believe that this company will bring it to the next level. because this is an untapped opportunity right now.
It's crazy. I just love all the work that I've been seeing, and the designs are literally out of this world, and I would love to see them one day physically manifest. But even them just being staying in the digital world, it creates scarcity. It's very cool. It's very cool, and
It's very cool.
Yeah, and
cool. And
yeah, sorry.
Maybe one day we will be all just wearing pajamas, and with our glasses we will be dressed to kill into the metaverse. With all of these fancy clothes, all of these digital fancy clothes and everything. I can wait for that.
It's like the Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But I love seeing as well, like legacy iconic fashion brands enter the space, like Gucci and Louis Vuitton. But it's so interesting seeing legacy brands enter the space, but then seeing like digitally native startups totally leading the way as well with the projects you just mentioned earlier. So what do you see as the future between startups as well as like legacy brands for the digital fashion?
I think that the digital native brands that they are bringing it to the next level, but the firepower that the legacy houses they have. I live in France. I understand what it is. I know about these brands and everything. We've been doing a couple of projects with them. I can't really talk about it yet, but they have a huge role to play into this. And I think that they are moving pretty fast. They are catching up pretty fast. And the next project will be something that is totally astonishing. And I can't wait for that.
I can't wait as well. I just love those legacy brands as well. So I think there's a space for everyone to truly innovate, and that's what's so beautiful about this. And so in another one of your Metaverse series blog posts, I read them avidly. I just love them.
Did you read them all? Like,
I
really?
did, except the ones that were in French. I had to translate them.
Oh, okay. I will translate it pretty soon, by the way.
But yes, there was one, the trillions economy, and you then talked about the barriers to the metaverse, or the battles to the metaverse. So you said the first battle would be the infrastructure, and then the second battle would be services. So yeah, there was also a quote I've got here: as the possibilities are infinite in the metaverse, we will see the rise of the first Galactics business. Could you please elaborate? What are you referring to by Galactics?
Galactics is that there will be some business that is so big that we can just imagine what it is yet. Because but the metaverse, people have to understand what the metaverse really is. Because if we are able to interconnect the planet, what is the next step? Colonizing other planets. So we can build galactic services, okay? Because we have people living on the moon, on Mars, or whatever. It's about IT, okay? This is the next stage of IT. And when we talk about IT, we are talking about information technology. We still have to bring things to the world to understand the meaning of the thing. So information technology is the technology that enables us to communicate, to connect. And with the metaverse, if we are able to interconnect the planet, like in terms of instantaneously, in terms of connectivity, in terms of, breaking the barrier and the frontiers of everything, if we are able to do this for the planet, we can do it from the moon, we can do it from space as well. So the company that will build those kind of services, okay, on this metaverse layer, on this metaverse infrastructure layer, it means that they can provide their services to space as well. So this is it. And they will be the very first company to provide services on Earth and into space.
Oh my goodness.
Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. Trippy, but I think that's the future. The future is very real. And I can see that happening. Just to bring it back to you and how you became known as Mr. Metaverse, what inspired you to get into all of this and find your company, Black Pixel? I'd love to know further about what drives you.
Wow. A lot of people ask me that question, and I always have the same answer. I've been into the metaverse since umbilical, I can say. I'm a geek, by the way. I
Yes.
grew up as a geek, so with everything sci-fi, with tech and everything. So, and then I went into IT, hardcore IT, and then digital transformation, business innovation. So, I've been doing all of the layers of the thing, kind of. And I think that at some point in my life, I have to reconnect, with the dots. And you can only connect the dot looking backwards and not looking forward,
Right.
And when I look backwards, I try to find out, the link between all of my past experiences and all of that. I had some time to really reflect on this,
Yeah.
to recollect myself and everything. And it just hit me as something that is some moment, that you only live once in a lifetime. And then I envision that thing and I say, okay, this is big. This is really big. Okay, how can I contribute to it? Because I'm a dad as well, and I love that. So I really understood that this is the next big thing coming. People are talking about VR, giving all that. Okay, this is one part of the thing. But the next big thing, the next step of evolution of humankind is the metaverse. Just as the internet totally changed our world, the metaverse will do the same, but on another scale, and my goal, I think that my mission as a human being, as an individual, as a father, as a son, as a brother, whatever it is, as a human, is to try to contribute to build something that is sustainable, but that is good for humankind as well. So, and it starts with education and evangelism. Sorry for my English. Evangelization,
Yes.
to onboard the masses. People, the most people we can onboard, the most people can, understand what is coming, the better it is. Because there are some problems, there are some issues that we didn't solve yet with the internet. And we are talking about data protection and all of this thing. So if we bring it into the metaverse, it will be totally something else. Just think that with the VR, pretty soon, big techs would be able to scan your iris and to see how you react to the experience you are going through in VR. And everybody knows that the eyes are the window to our souls. And that makes sense because it's neuroscience. Your eyes reflect what is going on into your brain, And this is, it opens a lot of questions, a lot of ethical questions. And this is my spot. And this is why, on top of being an expert of the thing, okay, hardcore IT guy, nerd, tech guy, business innovation, and all of this, this is my personal goal. This is my personal mission, to bring that onto the table and to be a voice into that space about all of those ethical questions.
Well, you certainly are a voice, Teddy, and I know the community, I myself appreciate hearing your voice, and you explain concepts so well. And I think it's really important, as you're saying, we need to onboard as many people as possible, remove the barriers to entry so people can understand like this next human evolution that we're all progressing into, and create a space where people feel like they have a voice and they feel empowered, they're armed with knowledge, and manifest this plurality of worlds, decentralized interoperability, self-sovereign identity. It's just beautiful, and appreciate you. And my last question for today is, I always like to end with this. If you could project yourself into the future and you had a superpower, it could be magical, it doesn't have to be real, or it could be a tech device or something, what would it be and why?
Wow. It's very interesting that you asked me that question, but I think that we all have to ask ourselves this question, because in the metaverse, everything would be possible. This is it. I think that maybe wait. In a couple of years, I will show you my avatar and you will understand.
Oh, okay.
No, definitely. I think that one of the things I would love is to be able to manipulate the tissue of the universe itself, time, space, matter, all of this. Sounds totally crazy, but yeah.
Wow, I've never heard anything like that, but I love it. It's so unique. It's so you. It's so Teddy. Well, I just want to say thank you for being on board the Vinci Holoship show for the Future Humans 3.0 podcast.
Thank you for the invite. See you in the metaverse.